guys, welcome to our book club. Today will be the fourth session for our experts level. Currently, we are reading The Girl Who Reads on the Metro, a book written by a French author called Christine Floret-Fleury. And well, we are just about to finish the book because today we will cover from chapter 16 to 21, and next session will be the last one. So I'm very excited to know how this story ends. And without anything else to say, let's just start. Hi guys, as I told you in the introduction of this video, today we will cover 6 chapters from chapter 16 to 21, but before that let's just remember what happened in chapter number 15. So I am already sharing my screen and you will see that here I have the last lines of chapter 15 and what is happening in the story. Remember that Juliette moved to Suleiman's house. She is spending on the store. She's trying to clean, but she feels overwhelmed by the responsibilities, overwhelmed by like so many books, by the chaos. And then this man with the in the green hat entered to the store. He's also a passer, and they are talking about books, and she is like releasing all all these feelings she is having, and the guy is just listening to her. And he said at some point, like, I think you need, like a guidance book. So, like they don't know if that exists, but, it's just about trusting in this intuition. So, at the end of the chapter, Leonidas, that is the name of the man in the green hat, told Juliet, like, maybe everything looks super overwhelmed, but she can't do it. Like, come on, this is nothing for her. So, like, and you are capable of doing that, I'm certain. So let's just continue now with chapter 16. And here in chapter 16, after Juliet was telling everything to Leonidas, like she felt a little bit better, but she is very, like that full. She is thinking a lot um about herself. So here we have the next day that she decided not to open the store, to stay taking care of Said because Said was not feeling well. She was under the weather. And then, she said that she was just taking care of her. And then suddenly, Juliet started thinking about Said's mom. So far, she knows that maybe she's not dead, but Said nor Soliman mention it. They haven't mentioned it. So she doesn't know. And suddenly, also, it says, let's see, school. Yeah, because like she is thinking about herself, and then she said like, oh, I just want like my place to be like a cocoon, to be alone, just like with my thoughts. And so then she started thinking that all her life has been the same, all her life, that she has been always in the comfort zone. And she started mentioning that when she was in college, that college was super close, school was super close. And then when she changed, it says home, primary school, secondary school, college, and finally the agency. The agency located 12 metro stops from the studio apartment she bought with the money her grandmother had left her. You won't even have to change platform, her mother had said approvingly. That will make things simple for you, darling. Juliet's life couldn't have been much simpler. She got up every morning at 7:30, had a shower, sat at the counter of her gallery kitchen, and ate 4 crisp breads spread with cream cheese. Never any more. Drank a glass of apple juice and a cup of tea and left for work. At midday, she sometimes had lunch with Chloe at the Vietnamese restaurant. Oh, my bad. At the Vietnamese restaurant on the corner, a couple of times. So she started talking about her routine, and then it says that, like some men, sometimes they change her routine. But also, like, she was a little bit clumsy. Like, she didn't know how to behave, how to relate with people. So at the end, she was dumped by these guys. And even if she cried a little bit, like nothing happened. She was like, okay. So And then it says like when she has, like these heartbroken, she tend to smell the scarf. Remember that the grandma gave her that scarf? It says, buried her nose in the grandmother's scarf, the blue scarf, which she liked to think carried a lingering, even infinitesimal trace of the perfume of the woman who knit it. And says like, oh, it smells like her. I think it smells like her. Of course not, but that is, like her feelings. And then she started thinking about also that, like the scarf smells like her grandmother, and also to that dish that she cooked, and to the eucalyptus, like just like the products her mother used to use. So she started remembering her mother, and we know that her mother died because of an accident. So it says, like, oh, how she missed her. She had always tried to smooth to the ground beneath her daughter's feet, guiding her towards the safest paths where she would meet neither obstacles nor difficulties nor adventures, nor any other kind of unforeseen events. Nothing that could hurt her deeply, nor anything that could stir her passions, elevate her above herself, above her cautions and certainties, her almost cloistered, gentle, humdrum existence. Humdrum? Monotono. Like this. Humdrum. And, well, it says that she missed her mom, even though if everything was not planned, but, like her mom was doing her best in order to help her. Like she was the most comfortable possible. So here we have, like her mom was just very behaved. And then, on the contrary, her grandmother was a rebel. She was fighting, like for rights. He was, like, it says. Her grandmother, on the other hand, had fought for the right to abortion, for gender equality, for African American civil rights, against nuclear power stations, forced relocation, the massacres in Vietnam, and the war in Iraq. All her life, she distributed leaflets, gone on demos, signed petitions, and engaged in passionate debates on the way they could change the world, men, life. Juliette's mother would say with a smile, "Mother is a real cliche." And it was true. She could have come straight out of a film about the 70s. This woman who lived in a little renovated farmhouse in a tiny village in the Pyrenees, where only natural fevers had become vegetarian long time before the Parisian bohos read Marx and grew cannabis beneath her bedroom's window. So her grandmother was eco-friendly, was, like a rebel. She wanted to help. She wanted to do her best, And her mother was very pacifist. Like, don't do this, it's dangerous. Don't do that, you will have problems. And she's thinking about that. And then Juliet says, like, well, she was drinking a tea, but then suddenly she says, like, I don't want that life, I want something like this landscape in this book, or like this situation in the other book. I want, like, to live, to experience the same. But at the same time, she is like thinking seriously about, like, is it the same? When you read something in a book, you can imagine everything as you want. But when you see it in real life, it is what it is. So, she is also a little bit afraid of being disappointed. And, well, it says, like here, let's just finish let's just finish this with the paragraph. She had a headache at present. Perhaps she caught Said's cold, or it was the kilos of dust she inhaled these past few days. And the dust remains. That was the title of a brand new book she'd seen on the top of the piles next to Suleiman's work table. A thriller, judging by the cover. For a rainy day, a cold when she was feeling a bit down, that was perhaps the best medicine. It was also a lovely concluding sentence for thoughts and dreams as disjointed as her. So, like she's thinking about her grandmother, about her mother, about her routine, like she has been always in her comfort zone. And then everything at the end, like she remember the title of a book that is on Soliman's desk, and is the dust remains. That I think is very accordingly to what she is living. So we start with chapter number 17, and here, guys, everything is a lot of information. So here in chapter 17, we have again Leonidas in the store, and here, Juliet says to him, I want to talk about spiders. And the guy, okay, what do you want to talk about? I have something serious to talk about. And then they start, talking about something else that is not spiders. Check. It says, Mm, 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 mm. He became almost every day, rapped gently on the office door at either 3047 or 3049. Juliet supposed that this regularity depended on that of the metro. She was actually starting to miss Lane 6 with its familiar landmarks. The finance ministry speedboat moored under its river porch, the wavy meadow green curves of the docks building on the opposite bank, the glass roofs of the above ground stations, and the little nursery school with its tiled roof, a real house standing alone, dwarfed by the increasingly tall apartment buildings surrounding it. So, she has Leonidas in the house, in the store, and then he enters and she's like, I want to talk about spiders. But at the same time, she's thinking like, this guy has come very often recently, and he always arrive, 347, 349. It depends on the traffic. And well, she's also thinking about the landscape, the views she has whenever she's on the metro. So she is describing here, for example, it says it's tile roof. Tile, it will be el azulejo, so tile roof, it will be embaldosado. And then, for example, she's describing here, she also missed the strangers to whom she'd given books whose titles were masked by Said's color card, those people to whom the cover had promised happiness and transformation. So she is a little bit, not sad, maybe under the weather, and she is missing just going outside. And again, the conversation continues with Leonidas asking, don't you want to talk about spiders? Like, what do you want to talk? And, well, it says, they start talking about, yeah, they talk about insects. They say something like, oh, if you want to talk about spiders, I can give you, their routine, because I have a lot of details. But instead of that, Juliette start talking about how does she feel again. After this little break she took, she closed the store, and moreover, well, she is like, you know what? This is overwhelming. This is too much. I feel cold. I feel naked. I'm afraid. And Leonidas is just like, that's good, that's good. That means that you are outside your comfort zone, and come on, you can do it. So they are talking about this, it says congratulations, and it says, because you are afraid, because, let's read this part. It says, Juliet thought she misheard. Why was he congratulating her? What had she done to deserve any praise? His hand so light did not linger on her skin. She felt it withdraw. Leonidas had gone back to his armchair, which creaked. She didn't dare open her eyes, not yet. Maybe she'd mistaken irony for sincerity. Maybe. To hell with all the maybes. Because she looked at him. And then she said, oh, I'm afraid. And, Leonidas said, being afraid is a good thing, he continued calmly. You are beginning to understand that the great tidy up that you are planning, and which I do not anyway oppose, believe me, must not take place between these walls. Where then? And it says, I don't know, but you should start, like inside of you. Everything you need to change you, not the outside, the inside. So I mean, she is later on like, okay, so what do I have to do? And she says, like, read I mean, all the books. And then Juliet asks him, like, what will happen when I finish all of them? Simply, you will forget them. You know, you will forget them. So that is the ending of chapter 18. We start chapter 17. We start with chapter 18. And then, like Juliet is renewed. She feels that she can't, like manage these new responsibilities. So she has a new routine and she is reading. She said that she's cooking and she has a book, like here. And she is with a fork, like changing the pages. So I think that she is really into this new task. And well, like she is thinking also about this sensation that she had when she gave away the books to the guys on the metro and to Chloe. And she's having this tinkling when she is passing by through some books. So she grab it and says like, oh, this is the one, like this is it. And then it says, Juliet had understood from the beginning that she was not capable of choosing by herself from among the thousand of books Solomon had accumulated. So, had she relied on random selection, already tried and tested during the metro missions, you simply had to wait and stay calm. She couldn't see inside the books those millions of sentences were steaming like colonies of ants, but the books could see her. She offered herself to them, thus an easy prey that stays in the open without trying to run away, arouse the predator's suspicion. So like she is just being very careful, patient. And then like she had the tickling and she said like, well, this doesn't have an explanation, I would just let it be. So we continue here, and then it says that she is thinking about all those books that she read, and she mentioned a lot. Well, in this case she is cooking, like Said's mails, and then she's thinking about the book that she gave Chloe about like Rebecca. And then she is thinking about a lot of stuff. Let's just see here. It says, Juliet slipped into each story as if into a shiny new skin. Her pores imbibed the salt, the perfume used to preserve the suppleness of the limbs of Tauser, the heroine of Théophile Gautier's 1858 novel, The Romance of a Mummy in Egypt, the caresses of strangers encountered aboard a ship. Her ears rang with the boom of gongs, the shrill notes of an ancient flute, hands clapping the rhythm of a dance or applauding a speech, the hissing of the waves, rolling smooth pebbles in the blue green what? In the blue green belly. Her eyes stung with the wind, tear up the heavy face paint of courtesans, her lips swollen by 1,000 kisses, her fingers covered by an invisible gold. So, like she is thinking about all these stories, and she said, like, oh, I want to feel those caresses. I want to listen to the sound of the wind, or maybe the hissing of the waves, like, shh, that is a hissing. So she is thinking about that and says, like, so when Said returns, I am no longer, like Juliet. I'm Sancho Panza. I am, like one of these characters from these books. Why? Because she has so many stories in her head. And then Said says, like, oh, you are like Soliman. And also, Juliet has a very quick thought that says, like, why Soliman? She never says, like my father, my dad. So she is wondering why. But then, like the conversation between Said and Juliet, Said told Juliet, like, you are just like my dad. You think that you can just travel all over the world to know a lot of places without leaving the room. And that is not life. That is, like not possible. That is boring. And well, like Said says, I like stories, but I want to have adventures. So Said, they bet and says like, okay, so what do you want to bet? And Said says, a trip, a journey. So what is the journey? To an unknown place. Juliet is a little bit, like nervous about it, a little bit anxious, but say like, okay, let's do it. Like, and the deal was that Juliet has to take the metro all the way more than one, two times. And well, she doesn't know the place, she doesn't know the station, so that's why it is an adventure. That is the ending of chapter 18. So in chapter number 19, we have, like, we have Juliet about to take the metro in order to start with the challenge, and she is thinking about like, I'm nervous because this is the very first time I will do it, and I don't know, and this and that. But suddenly she said like, I need to calm down. She had some books with her just in case, so she started, like reading a book, and little by little she started thinking like, okay, this is cool, this is nice. And she forgets about the metro, she forgets about everything. And she found Chloe. She bumped into Chloe. Like Chloe finally says like, hey, you are really crazy. And Juliet says like, oh, Chloe, you are here. And Chloe was like, I have been watching you since like an hour ago. You just finished the line and you didn't get out, so you are again, like traveling the way back. So what happened with you? And well, Juliet is not trying to explain, but she's like, aren't you mad at me? And Chloe says like, come on, girl, like this is, something in the past. I am not mad at you because of the books, but tell me, like, what happened? And well, like in the conversation, Juliet just knew that Chloe also quit quit the job. She is, like right now trying to start her own business. She is trying to start a new life, to behave differently. So everything because, like, she read the book that Juliet gave her. And Juliet is like, oh, so you finished it. And well, like, tell me, what was the title of the book? Because I cannot remember it. And the title of the book was The Restaurant of Love Regain. Because, like Chloe changed. And also, Chloe was talking about, what to do with her life. And she wanted to be like a wedding planner, like, these kind of jobs when you are planning weddings. Because she even okay, let's see. It says wedding planner or civil partnerships or whatever you like. Druid marriages, for example, or wedding benedictions in parachutes with a priest and everything, organizing things for people and making them happy. You see, if a couple is happy on that day, very happy, they won't want to destroy their happiness. So they will make an effort. So, like here. And then Chloe is like, hey, by the way, can you just, like give me a list? And Juliet says like, what kind of list? Yes, like some books, so I can recommend, like them to the people, to the couples. And well, that is the ending of chapter number 19. That is very sweet. So in chapter number 20, we have here that this Chloe, during the conversation, she mentioned different phrases that they stay in Juliet's head. So it says, change places. I should make the effort to change places and not only on the metro. So, Juliet was thinking about it. She's thinking about also the girl who is in front of her, like that couple. The girl is in a yellow dress. And suddenly she's thinking about her old boss, the former boss, Monsieur Bernard, that he closed down the agency. He also, like closed business. And he went to the mountain. He went, like he took his coffee maker and he is living in the woods. And then in the conversation when she's remembering, Juliet asked Chloe asked her like, hey, by the way, what was the title of that book? And Juliet says, Walden, or Life in the Woods. So she is very impressed because, like no, Mr. Bernard once mentioned that his dream was just, like to open her door and to see a deer. So she's very excited about it. And also, when she was deciding what book she needed to give him, she said, like, okay, I have a slim book and I have a thick book. And she remembered that, like his boss never liked think book, like he wants something with substance. And we have here this, like to turn up his nose, that it will be like rechazar, like I don't want it anymore. And well, that was 20, chapter number 20. So let's just see. Well, she is super happy because what happened with Chloe and this and everything. And then we have succeed, chance, and take. Oh, yeah, she is remembering what a teacher told her. That is like, don't take honors, my girls. It's nothing to do with you. Like, don't, you are not special. Things happen. So, like, it's normal. You are not special. So she's thinking a little bit about that. And then we have, like the change of scenario. And we start with this, like, what? Because, like we have a conversation between Leonidas and Juliet. And she's like, no way, I cannot believe it. And, like, why we don't know anything? Like, what just now? And Leonidas is telling her, like, well, the hospital couldn't couldn't call us because, like he wrote a fake address. So what about, like the emergency contact? And says, like, oh, the emergency contact was Sylvia, the girl who commits suicide, like this girl who, well, this grandma, or this woman who had always these recipes, the book of recipes. And well, what happened? Oh, come on, like, where is it? Here it says, no, Juliet hadn't noticed it, and she didn't want to hear anymore. Not right now, he understood and apologized. Forgive me. She remained silent, merely nodding. Soliman was dead. He succumbed to the after effects of open heart surgery, a risky operation which he put off for far longer than she should have, Leonidas explained, as if he hadn't wanted to give himself the slightest chance, he added. He learned all this at the hospital. So, like Soliman, she had something in his heart, and she waited until the last moment to have that surgery. And he mentioned, like, just in case he couldn't recover. And then Juliet is feeling a little bit guilty because she was super happy. She was, like at the time Solomon was having the surgery or was dying, she was laughing. She was like, oh, yes, I did a great job with Chloe. So now she is, like, she feels guilty. And then they start talking about Said. Like, what happened with Said? She had promised Said a journey. But then they start talking about Said's mother. And her mother, it seems that it's alive, but let's see, where is it? Well, this is 21 already. And they are talking about Said and her mother. So let me see, where is it? You are like, Papa, no, this is my journey. This is not here. Where is it? Well, still, like in this chapter here, Juliet doesn't want to tell anything to Said. She is having this feeling like not to tell her, and she's like, maybe the right thing is to tell her right away, but I have something inside of me, like this sensation that I shouldn't. So she is thinking and she's waiting, but it says, you are like, Papa, this is my journey. I came across. Oh, well. Like here, since Juliet promised a journey to Said, well, they are talking about this, and they will have they need to go. It says Dordan La Forêt. That was the name of the last stop, even though you had to make sure not to get onto the branch that went to Said Martin the Thames and the metal in Orpois. Said, standing in front of the train map, had repeated the same several times, as if it slid over her tongue, leaving a delicious, salty taste. This is my journey, this is my journey. So she's thinking, and well, it says here, like, oh, you are like Peppa, because she is like jumping very close to the edge in the anden. So she's like, hey, come here, don't do that. And Said, that's why, like, oh, you're like my dad. You're afraid of everything. And well, here is what I told you about Said's mom, that she is receiving, like letters from her. It says, contrary to what Juliet had believed, Said received regular letters from her mother. Over the past few years, she has shown her pages of beautiful color drawings surrounded by captions written in a tiny compact handwriting. This is a house, a bird in the branches of the pomegranate tree just outside the kitchen door. You will love this walk. Well, we will do it one day, like everything. And the mom's name is Firuzi. And it says that, like they were living, it says, uh, why did Said's mother write to her in French? Why had Solomon left Iran with his daughter and how long ago? What had happened? And why had Firuzi, his wife, come back to France a few months ago but not to come to see them? Leonidas hadn't been able to give her answers. For the past few days, he had been listless silence. Why? Because it says that he arrives to Solomon's store and then he is just, like absorbing, contemplating the photo of Sylvia because he was in love with her. He was never, like brave enough to tell her something. He thought that just looking at her was enough. So he is sad now. And well, here we have that, like again, the change of scene. And this is Said and Juliet in, like in the station. And the metro is coming. The metro is coming. So, like again, we have here that today, though, both of them will experience the thrill of adventure. It's an adventure because they don't know the place. And well, it says the tiniest departure from routine, if you were open to it, was indeed adventure. Oh, that was very quickly. Oh, well, that was, like chapter 21. So what do we have so far? We have that, like Juliet moved to Soliman's house. She is taking care of Said. She was feeling overwhelmed by all the new responsibilities. But then with Leonida's help, she is, like getting used to all these kind of changes. And also she is accepting this new job, the paseos, with all, like the unknown answers. And well, we know right now that Soliman passed away because he was, like he caused some after effects from a heart surgery. So he passed away. Now Juliet, she doesn't know how to tell Said that his dad died. Said's mom is alive, but she doesn't know what happened, why they are not talking each other. And also, what do we have? We have that Juliet was feeling, like in a routine. All her life was the same and the same over and over. And the only thing that changes, it was just, like places, but it was always kind of the same route, the same way. And now, because Said also is pushing her, they are about to have an adventure. What is an adventure? What is a journey? Because they mentioned a journey. A journey is when you go to an unknown place. And when you go to an unknown place, that's an adventure. So that is the end of chapter 21. This is the ending of this session. Last video will be the last we finished this book, so I'm very excited to see how this story ends. And well, guys, like, thank you so much for you reading with me. And I will see you this Thursday at 8 p.m. for our session. Thank you so much, and see you later then. Bye.